Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Counselor Jones.
Here.
Counselor Whitaker is absent or excused. Counselor Woods.
Here.
Counselor Bagel.
I am present.
Counselor Sarnoski. Here. Counselor Small. Here. Mayor Sumner.
Here. Any media present? Please, Rick, did you see his hand?
Well,
Would you like to introduce yourself?
yes, I'm Andrew, I'm a reporter with the News UV, I just wanted to say a little bit tonight. What's going on?
Great, thank you for coming.
Yes, nice to have you here.
Anyone wishing to speak before city council tonight on any subject matter will need to fill out a speaker form and return it into the recorder. Forms are available on the sign-in table in the back of the room. Please turn cell phones off or silence them during the meeting. Announcement for Zoom attendees. If you're joining tonight's meeting via Zoom, you will automatically be muted upon entry, and you'll need to identify yourself if your name is not already attached to the device being used. You will be unable to unmute yourself. Public comments will only be taken if prior notification was given to the city recorder. For public comment, the purpose of this public comment period is to allow citizens to present information or raise issues regarding agenda items only. There will be time at the end of the meeting for citizens to speak about off-agenda items. A time limit of 3 minutes per citizen shall apply. All citizens must come up to the microphone. Public comment is a time for the council to hear about the thoughts or concerns of the community. It is not a time for a dialogue or back and forth with the council or city staff. Other than asking possible clarifying questions, neither the council nor staff will typically reply to specific comments or questions raised by members of the public. To the extent a response is necessary, the council will have city staff do their best to do so at or before the next meeting, although such timeframes are not always possible to be met. The council appreciates the time taken by the public to provide comments and desires to hear your thoughts and concerns. However, to be able to run our meeting efficiently and to protect the rights of all involved, the city needs to utilize this time as a period of receiving rather than providing information. Thank you for your understanding. On to consent agenda for September 29th, 2025, council minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Did you copy?
Yeah, I have first by Counselor Bagel and a seconded by Counselor.
Any discussion? So vote.
Counselor Hamilton.
Aye.
Counselor Whitaker. Counselor Woods.
Aye.
Counselor Bagel.
Aye.
Counselor Sarnoski.
Aye.
Counselor Smalley.
Aye.
Mayor Sumner.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, on to a public hearing for the plan amendment and zone change. Staff report.
Mayors. There you go. Hello. Jamie Fugate, City Planner. So the city council will conduct a public hearing and receive written and oral testimony from parties in favor and or opposition, as well as neutral comments for the above referenced application. And you guys are gonna love me for reading to you all. The council is holding a public hearing on an application for a proposed comprehensive plan map amendment and zone map change. The application seeks to change the comprehensive plan map of designation for the subject property from light industrial to high density residential, with an accompanying zone change from the M1 light industrial to the R3 multifamily residential zone. In order to approve the proposed change to the comprehensive plan map, the council must find that the proposed amendment is consistent with A, the applicable statewide planning goals as adopted by the Land Conservation Development Commission, and B, the remainder of the comprehensive plan, including inventory documents and facility plans incorporated therein. In order to approve the proposed zone change, the council must find the application A, demonstrates compliance with all applicable pertinent comprehensive plan policies and map designations, which is why there is a proposed amendment to the comprehensive plan map. B, demonstrates that the most intense use and densities that would be allowed outright in the proposed zone, considering the site's characteristics, can be served through the orderly extension of urban facilities and services, including demonstrative consistencies with AR 660-012-0060. And C, provides evidence of change in the neighborhood or community, or a mistake or inconsistency between the comprehensive plan or zoning district map regarding the subject property which warrants the amendment. The proposed purpose of the hearing is to receive evidence and testimony from parties in favor, in opposition, or neutral on the application for these standards, which relate solely to the comprehensive plan map and zoning amendments. Other matters of concern not relative to these criteria or the change in designation may not form a basis for the approval or denial of this application. Rather, such issues would be considered as part of subsequent land use applications related to actual development of the property. As you're aware, the subject property is a 7.88 acre property located east of Oak Street, described as tax lot 1000 in section 17C8, tax lot 300 in section 17CD, and tax lot 7800 in section 17DB, all in township 25 south, range 5 west. So a little background. The first evidentiary public hearing was held before the Planning Commission on August 19th, 2025. The Planning Commission declared parties and received written and oral testimony to this action based on the applicant's findings, the staff report, and the testimony evidence provided during the public hearing. The public hearing was followed by a 4-2 vote of the commission to recommend that the city council approve the requested plan amendment from light industrial to high density residential, and a zone map change from light industrial to multifamily residential, subject to the reported findings of fact. Notice of the public hearing before city council was provided at least 20 days prior to the hearing, as required by section 4.2.150.g of the Sutherland Development Code. These 3 written responses were received as the writing of the staff report. 2 responses received were in opposition, expressing concerns regarding the environmental site assessments and the likelihood of excessive site geotechnical issues. Additional questions were raised inquiring why the notice of public hearing was not mailed to every taxpayer. Was a traffic impact analysis completed, and what the remediation plan is? Has an economic impact analysis, population impact, and soil analysis also been completed? Most of these concerns relate to the actual development of the property, and in question are not issues that directly relate to the proposed comprehensive plan map and zone map change. With regard to the question about the notice, staff provided notice as required by the Sutherland Development Code, which does not require specific notice to every taxpayer. Instead, the notice is required to be sent to notice property owners of record within 100 feet of the site for the planning commission hearing, as well as parties who participate in the planning commission hearing, as well as being posted in the news review, which then gets everyone. To the end, general rather than specific notice mailed was provided to all taxpayers in the city. Even though it is not relevant to the approval of the pending application, it is worth mentioning that the city of Sutherland contacted DEQ and entered into the voluntary cleanup program to address any environmental and geotechnical concerns on the property in question. As staff continues to work with environmental consultants and DEQ, we will continue to evaluate options in the best interest of the city. Ultimately, the impacted sites are minimal and the development can be designed around those areas. Again, however, it is important to keep in mind that the issues will need to be addressed at the development stage rather than now. In addition, a traffic impact analysis was conducted and all studied intersections operate within the mobility standards with and without the development of traffic with this development site. The addition of developed traffic does not substantially increase queuing over the background conditions. As a result, no mitigation is required. One response was received in favor, supporting the zone change, providing comment Commitment to responsible growth and long-term sustainability. All the written public comments received prior to the hearing will be included in the record of this hearing itself. During the hearing, council should receive the staff report, hear the applicant and interested parties, and ask questions as necessary to be able to determine that the pertinent requirements as outlined in the Southern Development Code for a comprehensive plan map and zone amendments have been satisfied. Council should do its best to refrain from engaging in discussion beyond the scope of this hearing and should inform members of the public as necessary regarding the limited scope of this discussion. Once the hearing process has been completed, the council should choose between one of the following options. You can either close the public hearing to continue the public hearing to a date and time certain, or close the public portion of the hearing, leaving the record open for written comments. Staff will be able to answer any further, explain any further options if needed.
Did I say what I was gonna say? Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Okay, I did a note on, social media. After one of the letters was, posted that, just to, come to the Urban Renewal 101 meeting. That was my response. At this time, I would like to open up the public hearing. And ask for any public comments, and I would like to remind people that any speaker is allowed to 3 minutes. And our first public comment.
Well, can we have, so Mark Garrett represented us,
Yes.
so then it was, the application, he wrote the application for us, so if we can have him come up,
Sure,
as that neutral party to present.
yes, thank you.
Mayor and Christie, can I just interrupt everyone? So since this is a land use hearing, you should ask everyone on the council whether they have any conflicts of interest or have had any ex parte contacts that they need to disclose.
Does anybody else have any conflicts of interest or ex parte contacts?
No.
And I would note that one of the letters that's part of the record was received or emailed to all of council.
Okay, and then we should ask if any member of the audience wishes to challenge any member of the council's impartiality related to this matter.
Did everybody hear that?
Okay. And then the last thing we should do is there's a standard script, and I don't know if staff provided that to you about, sort of we just went over the applicable criteria, but also about sort of the process for providing testimony and the need to raise issues now or else lose the right to do so. And so if you have that script, you should read that now. If not, I could read something for you.
I do not have that. Let's see if there,
I don't want.
we do not have that.
Okay.
Chad,
All right, so I'm going to do my best to put this together on the fly for you. So this is the public hearing for the subject 7.88 acre property that's located east of Oak Street and is described as tax lot 1000 in section 17CA, tax lot 300 in 17CD, and tax lot 7800 in section 17B, all NTS or T2SS, R5W, WM, property ID numbers R52173, R52236, and R52152. The city council is going to be holding a public hearing. The hearing will be recorded. Please speak clearly. Once the mayor recognizes you, please begin your comments by stating your name and mailing address for the record. We request all testimony to be as brief as possible, focusing on comment on the relevant issues. We would like to avoid repetitive and redundant testimony to the extent possible. If someone has already testified and made your point, but you wish to be on the record, please simply state the previous speaker has raised your issues. The applicable substantive criteria pertaining to this issue are what was read previously and is found in the staff report. Testimony, arguments, and evidence in this hearing must be directed towards those applicable criteria or standards identified in the staff report or to other criteria in the development code or comprehensive plan that you believe applies to the decision. The application before the city this evening must be decided based on these criteria. Despite the importance of other issues that may be raised during the public hearing, the authority of the city is limited to those issues that address compliance with the applicable criteria. Failure to raise an issue with sufficient specificity to afford the council and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issues precludes appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. Failure of the applicant to raise constitutional or other issues relating to proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the city to respond to the issue precludes action for damages in circuit court. Now you can begin the public hearing by hearing the staff report and then taking public testimony. Sorry to interrupt the process.
Thank you, Chad. We'll begin with the neutral party.
Mayor Sumner, council members, I think this is the first opportunity that I've had to be before you. I've been to the commission a number of times and it's good to be with you tonight. My name is Mark Garrett and my address is 12975 Tiller Trail Highway in Days Creek, Oregon. And so I was tasked by the city to craft this application and act as the applicant in the matter. We put the application together to address the statewide planning goals, particularly goals 1 through 14, which were applicable to the request, along with the city policies and standards. And we paid particularly focused on goal 12, which was the traffic goal. That was a concern. We wanted to make sure that we were consistent with that goal. To that end, we tasked Kelly Sandow of Sandow Engineering to put together a traffic report that was referenced in the staff report before you, and then also we covered that in the planning commission hearing. Also, we looked at the building needs analysis, the housing needs analysis, and what the inventory was relative to the commercial lands within the city, and found that the conversion of this would not have a significant impact on the availability of industrial lands in the city, and in fact would be helpful to providing additional housing opportunities for the workforce in the area. And the local engineer put together a layout which you have in the record, which shows the layout for all of the different housing types. And so it's a very complete analysis and review for that preliminary site plan. And so we appreciated that. There was some issue raised regarding geohazard stability in the planning commission hearing. But as we pointed out, the city did not apply a geotechnical overlay to that, requiring any kind of analysis. I think subsequently there was some work done on that, but it's not part of the record. I'm a little bit uncertain, perhaps the attorney could advise us on this, if this hearing is de novo on the record, in other words, can only be the only issues that can be raised are those that were raised in the planning commission hearing, or is this hearing scope beyond that? Can new issues be raised?
Chad,
Yeah, I'll have to take a minute to look up the code. I don't know that off the top of my head. So why don't you keep taking testimony and then I can let you know.
Okay, so that's really, as far as my comments are concerned, that's really all I really have to say right now. The record is pretty complete, we believe. The commission found it to be so. And so we would ask the council to follow the planning commission's recommendation as far as approval of the plan amendment zone change, which will initiate the next phase of the process as far as the development review, which will give opportunity then to raise or to deal with those issues that might not be applicable to this particular process. And I'm happy to try and answer any questions that you might have in cooperation with the staff.
do we want to move on to the next, or do you have any questions? I have. Okay. And do we want to go with negative now?
I always go in favor, neutral, and
Okay. Do we have any comments in favor? Do we have any comments against? We have Kim Etter ready. Come on.
It,
Can you
Doing
say your
this-
name and your address, please?
sorry, Kim Etter, 350 West Sixth Avenue. The house at the top of the hill where all this is proposed. I think the rezoning or the zone change right now is a little counterproductive. It seems like a big waste of time when we still don't know all of the environmental testing results from that. It's no secret, I'm very opposed to this. It's not that I'm opposed to workforce housing, I'm opposed to what this could theoretically do to my own property. I sit up there on the hill, there's so much water that comes down that hill that I do have huge concerns about my house sliding down the hill from erosion once you guys start doing this. What about the businesses that are down there? They make a ton of noise. I was out in my backyard at 5:30 in the morning with my dogs the other morning, and it was so loud. I thought, I feel sorry for anybody who rents or purchases a piece of property right there next to them. What are you guys gonna do once they start complaining? Are you gonna start imposing some absurd noise level restriction on them? I mean, they're businesses, they're part of our community, and they bring work and income to our community. So I just think, again, it's counterproductive. You know, I've said it before, the water that comes off that hill is so fast and furious when it rains hard. I have a special gutter dug into my asphalt pavement in front of my garage to redirect it. That water, you say, is going to be redirected to the storm drains down there. Those storm drains are gonna fill up, and they're gonna fill up fast when we have bad storms. Those homes are gonna flood. I'll be very surprised if they don't. The traffic, you talked about the traffic. Oak Street's a pretty narrow street as it is. Widening it now and putting sidewalks in and possibly room for people to park is going to be a nightmare. Sixth Avenue is a nightmare. It's getting worse and worse every day with the speeding. People don't obey the traffic limit. I've had 3 accidents right there on my own property since I moved there. What about the wildlife down there? I mean, there are Canadian geese that nest down there. There are deer that have their babies there. There are raccoons and families of foxes that are down in there. And nobody's even talked about them. You're just displacing them. You know, it doesn't make any sense to do a zone change when you're not even for certain that you can build. Why are we talking about this now instead of waiting for all of these results to come in? And then talking about the zone change. Seems cart before the horse, counterproductive. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
South Carolina.
Okay.
Karen Meyer on Aspen Run in Sutherland. I don't know too much about traffic, and so the report said 674 daily trips. I figured about 90% of those in a 12-hour period, and that would be about 1 minute, a little less than a minute, a little more than a minute to get onto Oak Street and then get onto Central. And to me, that sounds like a lot. I think about all the, trying to get onto Central from my house and how I would not like to sit there and try to make a left turn with a bunch of people in front of me, which would be a bunch of people. The other thing is, I agree with Kim. I don't know what the cost would be to do the zone change now. I don't know if there's any costs involved. But I disagree with this problem and this problem and this problem is a development problem. It's not a development problem to know if you can build on there. this is my property and it's everybody's property and here there's a taxpayer. It's our property. We get no answers. Why can't you just answer? Do you know if you can build on the property? Has DEQ said, okay, you fixed everything, you can build on the property? We don't know. This is our property. I don't know whose property you think it is. It's not yours.
That's
mean, it
not
is yours,
something
but
right
you-
now we are considering when you do a zone change though.
You're considering if you're gonna do a zone change, but you don't know if you can build on the property. And I'm asking you, as a taxpayer, is it gonna cost you money to do this zone change if you can't build on the property? Is it gonna be wasted money?
Chrissy?
Are we answering questions or we're just taking our testimony? So we're not using.
I don't have a problem. Does it cost money to do a zone change?
That's our application piece.
Just the application fee, so it's not a lot of money.
Oh,
So,
But it's also, it's staff time, it's all those things you talk about. If we go down and we want information. You talk to us about staff time, somebody. When we were doing the petition, somebody said that they went. They went to the office to ask a question and were told to ask the question would cost them $25. Now, that didn't happen to me, but it was. We deserve as citizens to have our questions answered. Has DEQ, can you answer that? If you can't answer the question, has DEQ released this? You have no business voting on this. That's how I feel about it.
thank you, Karen. Any other comments?
Yeah, I gotta put my 2 cents worth in. Just. For the heck of it, Larry Spielbush, they want open. If you do a zone change from industrial to residential. What happens if you do find out that it is beyond economic liability to go ahead and remediate DEQ's concerns and build based on the foundation geotechnical reports? And you've decided that it just can't happen. If you do the zone change, or you're just saying, we're gonna do it one way or the other, regardless of what comes, as your environmental consultant said, we really don't see that this is a big issue, and we'll just go ahead and go through it. Can you condition the zone change on environmental review and economic evaluation? That if you finally get to the point where you decide you're not going to do it, then it does not zone change, it stays industrial. And if you decide that it can't be done, or you're not going to do it for whatever reason, can you change the zone back to industrial? You know, and why go through all of that until you can answer all the other questions? You can condition it on environmental suitability. Right now, you can't build on it residential until DEQ releases it. That's all I'm saying. Does it make sense to hold it or do it? And that's what you have to do. That's your decision. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, at this time, I would like to close the public hearing.
we'll have the applicant come back up for rebuttal.
Okay. I take that back.
Mayor Sumner, council members, Mark Garrett. A couple of comments, the drainage control, the water that's coming down off the mountain, I'm sorry that that's the situation with the individual who testified about that. However, that property is above this site, and the development of the site will be conditioned upon development of site drainage, which will address the capturing of the water, the direction of the water to the drainage facilities in the area. As far as slope stability, we don't really have an answer. I don't know if staff has, do you have the geotechnical analysis with here?
No.
Okay, so, as far, we want to just rest on the fact that there's no evidence of geologic instability. In the development, review, that they will take those things into consideration. I'm assuming if you choose to approve this request, that, that the development, review will also, respond to any need for, stabilization, those kinds of things. As far as the timing is concerned, I think the city's position is that we want to accomplish the plan amendment zone change so that when we get through the remediation process, we're ready to go ahead and move forward with the project. Mr. Spielbush raised the question of viability. If the site's not developable for residential, then I would anticipate it's not developable for industrial either, without dealing with those environmental issues on the site. So it's kind of one of those things that if they can't clean the site up to the point where it can be developed, and it's kind of a no harm, no foul. The money lost is the application fees and what they've invested with the consultants that are doing the review. And so that's a policy decision. As far as the flooding of the housing, that kind of relates back to the drainage control. And the engineer will address that in the final design of the development. One of the individuals raised the traffic capacity or traffic issues and capacity. Ms. Sandow was very clear after analyzing what's there with the background traffic and then the potential traffic being generated by this development, that the area road system is capable of handling the additional traffic. So I think we have to depend upon their testimony. This is an urban area and slated for urban development. So talking about the wildlife and those kinds of things, it's kind of a reality of life that as urban development takes place within an urban area, there is a certain amount of displacement that's going to happen. And there is no protection overlay for wildlife habitat there. And it was historically an industrial site. So I think that, no pun intended, the city's on solid ground to move forward with the request.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
My thoughts would be that if this zone change happened and something happened that with DEQ or whatever, that something happened to not be able to move forward with this project, that it would be, the city would maybe look for selling the property. It would probably sell better as a this new zone change than it would be leaving it as is.
Well, as we pointed out in the application and with a lot of the discussion concerning the balance of interest between the residential uses in the city and the industrial uses, there's a large amount of inventory of undeveloped industrial land. So it's not like if you convert this to residential, it's going to hamper industrial development in the future. As far as the market need for selling it to a private interest, I'm really not an expert in that, so I can't really speak to that. That would make sense to me, but that's just a layman's comment on that.
It would make sense to me.
Yes.
As well.
Yes. So I think that's what I have to say about those things. And do you have any other questions? Thank you.
Anything else I need to do before? Okay. Any other questions from anyone else?
Do we have to do that now or after there's a motion?
At this point, I'd like to close the public hearing. And move on to the council business, which includes ordinance 1106, plan amendment, zone change, first reading, title only.
An ordinance amending the city of Sutherland comprehensive plan map and zoning map to amend the residential. Sorry, to amend the comprehensive plan map from a light industrial to high density to residential concurrent with the zoning map. Change from M1 light residential to R3 multifamily residential on the subject 7.88 acre property described as tax lot 1000 in section 17 CA. Tax lot 300 in section 17 CB and tax lot 7800 in section 17 DB. All in T25S R05W. The subject property is described herein.
Staff report?
Mayor, City Council, Julie Fugate. I just, if you guys have any questions, I'm not gonna bore you again with like reading.
You don't wanna read that whole thing again?
No,
Okay,
but if you guys have any questions, we're always here to answer.
okay, I'm asking for a motion for the plan amendment zone change first reading title only.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for plan amendment zone change first reading title only. You have it?
Yeah, I have a first from Councilor Smalley and a second by Councilor Hamilton.
All right, any discussion?
I have some things, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, I'm all for workforce housing, I think that's a good idea. My first thought of it was that, it doesn't actually cost any of us to do this, it's just somebody else is paying for it. So basically, as long as that happens, I guess that's okay. But it seemed to me like we jumped ahead of a lot of things here. First of all, we don't even know what it's gonna cost. We have a lot of things that could come in consideration here. And then it's probably not in a gray area, I guess we knew that to start with, and put in this plan in place before we know all the details of it. A developer wouldn't do that, a developer would do studies and find out if it's feasible before he spends all the money doing it or even buying the property. So I'm not against the workforce housing, but I don't think we've planned this very well. I think we don't know what the cost is gonna be. There's so many things that are unknown. So that's my comment about it. I'd like to see workforce housing. I just think if we're gonna do it, we need to plan it better than we're doing it.
And I think we have had a lot of planning and we have developers involved. And so it just hasn't moved forward as much because we're going step by step. And this is one of the first steps.
So we have, but I don't think we've been very thorough with that.
Any other discussion? Okay, ready to vote?
Councilor Hamilton,
I.
Councilor Woods,
Aye.
Councilor Daigle,
I guess I could have voted no.
Councilor Sarnoski.
Aye.
Councilor Smalley.
Aye.
Mayor Sumner.
Aye.
Motion carries.
On to city manager employment agreement, staff report.
Mayor and councilors, at the September 8th, 2025 city council meeting, it was approved for the mayor to offer Kurt Sorensen the role of Sutherland city manager. It was also approved for the mayor to act on behalf of council to negotiate the contracts between Kurt and the city of Sutherland with assistance from the city attorney and staff if necessary. Since that meeting, negotiations have happened and the results are listed in the agreement that was provided in regards to it. Your options are to approve the city manager employment agreement as presented, to not approve the city manager employment agreement as presented, or to modify and approve the city manager employment agreement. The suggested motion is to approve the city manager employment agreement as presented.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the agreement.
I have a motion and a second.
After reading out.
Okay, I have a first from Adam Sarnowski, or Counselor Sarnowski, and a second by Counselor Hamilton.
Any discussion? She went first, she went second.
Alright.
Any discussion?
Is Kurt here?
Yes, he is.
Stand up for a minute.
And turn around.
We get to grow you a little bit.
Okay. What's the table?
Yes.
Grew away.
Well, actually, I never even heard about it. Just so that everybody get a look at it.
It's not a great look.
Now that we have. No, I think you're gonna be a good choice for us.
Thank you very much.
And you were able to review and everything looked good?
Yes, thank you.
Madam Mayor,
I'd like to say that this is gonna be a significant improvement from the previous guy.
I think that's how it-
We can only go up from here.
Great,
Mayor,
yes.
can I step down now?
Well, we have to vote first and then you can.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead and vote.
Counselor Hamilton,
Aye.
Counselor Woods,
Aye.
Counselor Daigle,
Aye.
Counselor Sarnowski,
Aye.
Counselor Smalley,
Aye.
Mayor Summer.
Aye,
Motion carries.
welcome to the team. Sit down now. Unless you'd like to say something.
Thank you.
On to wastewater collection and facility master plans.
Mayor and Council, Chrissy Gilbert, Community Development. So in June, we were notified by DEQ that we were successful with an application to add to amend, create a wastewater facility plan update. And so with that, we were then added to the intended use plan for DEQ for the 2026 edition. The loan we qualified for was for 180,000 with 100,000 forgivable. And so Dyer Partnership and engineers, they have been our engineers working with the wastewater plant, ongoing infrastructure of the wastewater collection system. So with that, we are asking that you award this contract for the wastewater master plan to the Dyer Partnership engineers, not to exceed 180,000.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve awarding the wastewater collection and facility master. That would be awesome.
I'll second.
Okay.
He beat me because I had to push the button. No, I didn't push the button.
Oh, mine's on, I left it on.
I have a first from Counselor Sarnowski and a second by Counselor Hamilton.
Okay, any discussion?
Again, we're spending money for nothing, basically.
100,000 is free.
So I wanted to ask about that. What does that mean? It's forgivable and who forgives that? How does that have to go?
DEQ, so the loan, so the intent, so we budgeted the 180,000 because it'll all go through our budget. However, what they do, it's kind of like a grant fund. So we'll do the project and then they'll forgive the 180,000 as long as we meet that certain criteria. So, and Aaron's gonna have to help me, the nitrate limits, for example, or something that's part of our NPDS permit. And so making sure that we're meeting those requirements, which is the NPDS permits, their permit, then they help fund that.
So we like could take a loan from them for 180 and we only pay back 80?
Yes.
Okay.
That sounds like a good deal to us.
Yes. And it was explained to me by another half of me that all about this and how important it was, so, okay.
And I have a little something to add about that, Gary. I feel the same way as you do a lot of times about master plans and engineers. But in this case, a lot of that 180,000 goes to cameraing our lines and smoke testing our lines and flow poking our lines, which all help us identify where we have these deficiencies and the greatest I&I, the infiltration and inflow that cause our plant to overload during these storms. So there are some actual tangible benefits to this. We can apply it. we can apply it to actual stuff that gets done.
Like all of our storm drains overflowing in that big, a storm we had.
It's not so much for the storm drains, but it's for the sanitary. sewer, but, yeah,
Okay,
my next thing's about storm drains.
oh, okay.
Well, that makes me feel a little better.
Me too. Me too.
How often do you have to update the master plan?
What is it, every,
Well, they're typically good for 20 years. However, in this case, we don't have a collection system master plan. I mean, it kind of gives a high level of it, but this will hone in on those problem areas. And so it's more of an amendment, in a sense, to our existing master plan.
but as Christie said, the DEQ's coming out with new regulations all the time in regards to the wastewater plant and what they allow for different chemicals and things, and so this will help us devise a plan to address those when the limits get so far down that we can't meet them. We're meeting them currently, but they keep lowering them, and it's a moving target constantly, so this is supposed to help with that too.
Any other discussion? Let's vote.
Counselor Hamilton,
Aye.
Counselor Whitaker, sorry, Counselor Woods,
Aye.
Counselor Dagan,
Aye.
Counselor Sarnowski,
Aye.
Counselor Smalley.
Aye.
Mayor Summers.
Aye.
Motion carries.
On the reports, TMDL annual update.
Mayor, Council, Mayor Swan, Public Works. I gave you a report last year on the TMDL. And that's our total maximum daily load, and it pertains to, this pertains to storm drainage. This particular one. And it's what we discharge from our streets and our town into the Umpqua drainage. And the DEQ's come up with this program, and I gave a report last year because it was pretty new, and it's gonna be from now on. So one of the requirements is that I give you a report every year on how this is going, what we're doing to kind of stay in their good graces. Not unlike this wastewater plant situation, they're constantly kind of. What? Am I not on? What's going on?
No, I know I'm
Yes,
taking
yes.
action, I wanna make sure it's
Oh.
working. Because if you speaking, it doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. So, anyway. Some of the things I talked about last year, you know, the doggy waste bags and the sweeping schedule and all of that. This year, trying to meet their minimum requirements, we focused a lot on education. We have a newsletter that talks about water conservation and pollution prevention. We've marked the bridge crossings on our trails now, so you know what drainage you're actually crossing, and we actually did that kind of last year, between last year and this year, but now the next step is we're supposed to make a map of that. We're in process so that, I don't know if you'll pick up a map and be able to look at this as you walk the trails or what, but that's what we're working on. We also were asked to try to measure how much debris we pick up during sweeping, and we made some estimates. We picked up 95 cubic yards in the last year. That's 10 dump truckloads off of the streets. So we've done that. We've also inspected the outfalls of our drainage where they enter the bigger streams to make sure there's no illicit discharges. And that's kind of where we're at on this thing, and there'll be more next year. They keep adding stuff. So if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer those.
No, good report.
Thank you. On to city manager report.
I beat you to it. So for the record, I hate Aaron. I wanna give a shout out to my co-city manager, Kirk Sorensen. He is just amazing. Tomorrow he's getting schooled on city budgets. And he's gonna actually sit up here at the next council meeting. I'm gonna sit out in the audience with a scorecard. But no, he's just done great. I'm so excited. We're all excited. And it's just, I was shocked that he did this, but it's good. I just want you to know it's good, really good. I wanted to talk to you about, we've hired a new labor attorney. For those of you who don't know, her the name Ashley, remember Ashley? She was wonderful. She worked with Chad, and Chad, she hated Chad so much she left. But no, she went off on her own, and Barry Elsner's not bringing that skill set to their firm. So I did a little informal survey of attorneys and talked to Patty Mulville, executive director of League of Oregon Cities, and Robert Franz and Springfield and others, and we went with the local government law group with Mark Wolf. So he's our new labor attorney. We don't spend a lot in labor attorney because quite frankly, the city is so well managed, we don't have issues with employees. So that's just the way it goes here. But we do have union negotiations and things that we need labor assistance with, and Mark Wolf and we got a source of 3 people now that will be at Kirk's command and Tammy. So I'm really excited to have him on board as well. And just so you know, Kurt was part of the whole interview process and participated in the decision, because I told him, I says, I'm not gonna be the one to work with them, you are. So I want to make sure you're okay with it. So everything going great. I love Kurt, and I don't know what else to say, but if I keep talking, I'll insult somebody else. So I'll sit.
Thank you. Okay, on to council comments. Remember, monthly meeting time is limited. Please ask questions to make statements that are likely to benefit the group. Individual comments and questions that can be handled on a one-on-one basis should be handled outside the meeting. We'll start with Councilor Hamilton.
I didn't really give it much thought tonight, so I don't have anything. Other than private and beyond that occurred.
Councilor Woods.
Yes, welcome on board. Also, I was going to say, Wolf Talk was great. And then also trunk or treats coming up for downtown, the downtown district on the 31st, which is actually on Halloween, which is really cool. So make sure I'll get the word out so all the kiddos can enjoy those festivities in a nice, safe environment.
Councilor Daigle.
I believe our new website is all functional now, is that correct? I think we should advertise that a bit, because I think the public can use that to their advantage and what's going on.
Good point.
I like the information that as long as people are informed, we don't have problems.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Definitely. Councilor Charneski.
Other than congratulations, Kurt, nothing.
Councilor Smalley.
Yeah, congrats to Kurt, of course. I'm glad to see Oak Street moving on the next step, and I hope that Kurt carries that on as Jerry has started it. A great project, I think. Yeah.
Yes. I told Kurt, Pat's gonna carry the ball.
With Kurt's help, right? Right. And I just want to say, I attended the Halloween with all the dogs. It was really a successful event. Lots of fun costumes, and they had a great low cost vaccine clinic that was very well attended. So that's always fun to have available for our citizens. And just wanted to check in, Aaron, about the poop bags in Central Park. They were kind of asking about them because we had some need for them this weekend.
I bet they were.
And they mentioned that the city's working on it, so.
We ordered that dispenser and it came in.
Yeah.
And they sent us the wrong one and it didn't match the rest of the ones in town. We want to order all the same bags, so we sent it back and we're waiting the
Oh,
arrival
good, okay.
of the new one.
Perfect, great.
currently.
Stealing so bad though.
That's what
I said they get stolen so.
they
bad.
do. It's just a cost of doing business. They rip them out and they're so expensive.
Well, Wolf Scotch said they would help supply the bags.
During their.
No, throughout the year.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
By the way, are they also with all the new street lights? You know,
What's that?
Are they?
The replacement? Oh, yeah, yeah, you know, yeah.
What about the water meters back in there? It's not so. Nothing.
Didn't you already have your turn?
He's just got his mind, but that's okay.
They want me when I'm done.
The water meter situation is in flux right now. We're in the middle of our pilot study, but we're we're just waiting to see how that fleshes itself out. And we're also
That was the fun.
looking at some other opportunities.
You just did a little funny, you didn't know it,
I
did
didn't, I still don't know what I did.
What's the saying now?
And what was the other thing?
I'm trying to think separate one.
The lights, the water meters.
You took my time up, so I guess I'm. I think that's about everything, yes.
We get the wolf disqualified next year.
Yes, we had one of those wolf hybrids there. He looked just like a wolf. I loved him. He's great. But when we came to doing the pie eating contest, I tried to set the bowl down because I was watching the wolf, of course. And he about took it right out of my hand. It was pretty funny. Yeah, along with he was pretty calm until the food came out. Yeah, that was a pretty fun event. Yes, it was good. Okay, I think that adjourns this meeting. Oh, I'm sorry, public comment. Oh, gosh, I almost forgot. Sorry about that. Purpose of public comment is to allow citizens to present information regarding items off the agenda. A time limit of 3 minutes per citizen shall apply. And yes, I almost forgot you, Terry and Dan.
Well, hold on, just said public, not vagrant.
So Terry Brock, come on up. I still had 2 more meetings left tonight, so I'm just like trying to get.
Mayor, council, and staff. My name is Terry Brock. I live at 403 Fairway Estates. I'm my beautiful assistant. Hey, also a shout out to Kurt. To me, you guys sounds like a man of year candidate, didn't he? Oh, wait. Congratulations, Kurt. So I think all of you know that we've been working on a master park plan, which is a 20-year plan. We've done those before, or they've been done before. Things are going really good, working with a consultant and so on. They've done surveys and everything. And I don't want to step into anybody's business, but things are going well with that. What we would like to do is I've kind of been doing a little bit of recruiting and stuff and trying to get people on board with the whole master parks plan. Talking to event coordinators, service groups and all that stuff. And we are really partial to the property across the creek. And we really love to see something happen with that. That is, it's an option that we really hope that we take a good serious look at. We got great folks that do a lot of great work over there. And I think with some improvements and some development across the creek, not only would it help with events, of course, but we're looking more at community properties and stuff, usable community properties instead of a piece of property that's really not doing us a whole lot of good. So with that, we've kind of developed a concept plan, and I know it's pretty similar to things that we've seen in the past. Dan, you're looking good now.
I know, look at him.
What am I looking?
The school district property.
Can you identify where the firehouse is?
Firehouse is right here.
Okay. Oh, so you're going back for
Firehouse is right
the,
here. Parking in this area here, so we would propose that we just pave that parking and make it more usable for more folks. There's a lot of stuff here And with that being said, when we talked about putting this map together, we didn't just do it ourselves. We actually worked with groups and so on, people that actually use the property and got agreements within the groups that are actually using the properties now. Still working on some stuff for the school district, I understand. And like I said, we'd like for this to be somewhat of a vision that people could get behind. The survey is out, but the survey didn't really seem to cover a whole lot of this, at least without a visual. I think it's really hard for people to vote and to vote for something that they can't really lay eyes on, and that's what we're hoping to do. Is we're hoping to put this in front of the people, where they can actually see what's on the menu and see what kind of awesome we have.
So is that kind of upside down then?
Turn it over to you.
So, would that rec,
Yeah.
would that rec center be big enough? Like, is it like, give me an idea, about how much bigger that building is than our current community center?
That the rec center would be big enough to put in like 2 full-size basketball courts or 9 pickleball courts or whatever. So what we want to do is we want to build a building that can be used for lots of things. We're always talking about we want to do off-shoulder events, we want to have off-shoulder activities and stuff, but we can't do that. I mean, we really have no place to actually put on a big banquet or something unless it's at the high schools. If we want to do First Citizens Award or something like that, we got to go out of town, you know, and what we'd like to do is we'd like to develop something that can be used by young and old alike. We'd like to be able to use it for Southern Valley Rec, as well as some of our seniors to enjoy that. Make it multi-purpose so that it would have restrooms, it would have a kitchen facility. It's like a large size community center that we have. Not saying that the community center still wouldn't get used, because that's a fantastic building and it's a fantastic park. What we're saying is look big, think big, and you know, potentially look at this as some good things. We're also talking about taking a piece of property that again is not utilized very much and a bit of an eyesore. Bad things can happen out there. And what we're saying is let's use the property, let's put it to work for families, let's put it to work for community, and also be able to get people to come to our town. Part of our urban renewal is to get people to come to our town and spend money. Our goals are not to have them just off at I-5 and then hit the road and go, but to have them come through our town, have them come and stay in our community.
You got cut that.
I know.
And well, you were so nice, you started them like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
late,
it
too.
was.
I'm like, wait a minute. That was. Just to piggyback on top of that, as you can see, there's ball fields and soccer fields out there in the school district property. We've been in contact with all the organizations as far as like Terry Prestiani, superintendent, he's on board with this thing. In fact, he actually did a study before we even did it, and actually overlaid some ball fields on there. With all the organizations working together so well with Blackberry and Wolfstock and Southern Downtown, everybody working together, we're finally all cohesive. So we want to make this work. We got a great template to work off of, which the Ford family, the Ford Pond used as far as how they applied for grants and everything else. We just we're ground roots. We want to get this thing going. So I'm only a minute.
Yeah, I know. So I would say this. I'll say this as a disclaimer, we're working in partnership with the city and with the consultants and stuff. We're not trying to do anything different or opposite of that. We just want to put that vision out there for folks to see. Thank you.
Thanks. Actually, I do want to say something. This has been talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
And this is the first time in how long have I been on that committee? Or was on that committee? It was a long time, from city council at the beginning.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I've seen everybody sit down in a room and say, this is what we want. So this is not one organization's vision. This is pretty much everybody in the city that's been using those properties has sat down and said, this is what we need. So that's pretty impressive.
It is. Love it. No.
Especially when you consider the two leading the charge.
Hey, we're gonna present this where at the town hall.
Well, there's, what we're gonna do, so it's been recommended that we get the youth involved. The youth are our future. We have seniors that are gonna be leaders next year, you know, and the year after and the year after. So to get the high schools involved, we'd like to do a pop-up at the high school and just talk to them about, for one, take the survey and consider some write-ins, you know, because some of the things that we're proposing here isn't an option on the survey. But also, if we feel like if we get kids involved at the very beginning, that they're gonna wanna be a part of it, and they're gonna learn that they'll respect the park, they'll use the park and be respectful of it instead of tearing it up. So, pop up there, well, I know in the plans, with the Parks Committee, council and so on, we're planning some sort of another event, and that's what we would like to do, is we'd like to present this at that. And using our resources, the people that follow our events and so on, I think by the time you add the many people that we're in contact with, that we can get some really good participation in that. So I was looking forward to, once the consultant and the city, we get together, we figure out what the next activity is gonna be, then we'd like to do something like this, you know, to propose to the community, the whole community.
Well, our next town hall meeting is the next city council. It's kind of an open forum.
Sure.
So if you're ready to maybe put it out there.
Well, and that too, I mean, there again too, respect and love the work that the city does and the staff and so on. We want to work with the city and, you know, and not do anything that's gonna be out of state, being kind of like we are right now.
Just a smidge, but it's, we will be having another event as part of that Parks Master Plan as well. And so that's the event that we're still trying to figure out the dynamics for that he was referring to.
Got it.
Well, also, we're meeting with the school board next month to get them,
Monday.
oh, is it next Monday already?
Yeah.
Okay, next Monday, to sell them on it, because, you know, you may not know this, but 3 years ago, Terry and I had a drawing done, we made it, we went and interviewed the YMCA and asked if they would manage it. We were gonna spend urban renewal money and COVID hit. So everything just kind of flatlined, but these two fireballs are taking it. And we want to get the school board to partner with us because they own the land. And give us some sort of intergovernmental agreement or memorandum of agreement on how we move forward, working with these two and
Well, we've talked about even forming a nonprofit.
Yeah.
That we can kind of like with the
We did too,
bond did
yeah.
also and make that, so it's all funnels through there with grant money and everything else.
Yeah. But it isn't Sutherland, Sean Radford is the chair of. These, yeah, I mean, couldn't we just get it put together a good board there and just use theirs? Never mind, I'm.
You're retired.
Yeah.
Kurt, what do you think?
We understand that there's challenges with the properties and so on, but we have the will and hopefully with the support, we have the power to overcome a majority of the challenges.
Any challenges?
Wetland.
The whole thing just around the
That's the
west.
big one. We have everybody that has a festival or something on board with us right now, and we're all working together. Best we have in many years, and so I think it's a perfect time to just move forward.
When you're gonna get a Sutherland sweatshirt?
I got an Oregon Tech one.
You wore that before, I remember.
I know.
Again, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Daddy.
Thank you.
You want this, but you don't want it. I'll leave it.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna adjourn to the next URA meeting.